January 6th, 1923, London. 5 adventurers gather, drawn together by an insidious plot designed by a dread hand. Drawn together to embark on a journey from the River Thames to the shores of the Bosphorus. Traveling through Europe on a coal-powered palace, they'll combat terrors ancient and new. They'll see the wounds of the World War just recently ended, and the rumblings of another yet to come. They'll experience opulence rarely seen, and terrors unimaginable. Join us now for the horror on the Orient Express.
When last we left our intrepid adventurers, 2 and a daughter decided that they needed to summon a doom train on a river away from the rest of the party, who are going to be enjoying themselves a nice festive dinner with a bunch of train aficionados. The exact moment we left, Vernon was on the train in the first carriage, dressed up in some 1890s garb, surrounded by some other fun travelers. So Vernon is on the train. Robert is standing outside the train looking rather shocked, having just lost some sanity. Julia is staring agog from the shore. Robert and Julia are staying agog on the shore. Julia, however, did notice that on the second train is a man fitting Stanley's description. Henry Stanley's description. So, I'm going to need a decision from Julia and a decision from Robert as to what their next moves are.
Robert isn't very courageous. He's going to run.
Julia?
Julia is going to go towards the train to try to retrieve her father.
So Robert, what are you going to do?
He's going to turn tail and run.
Run into the night. Okay.
Well, back to the road to where we got out of the taxi.
Okay. The taxi that's left.
Yeah, wherever I need to get to get back to town.
Okay, you will be walking. Julia.
Yes.
What are you doing now that you see your father in the train, as well as another man screaming from the second car?
I was not the one to invent this character, therefore I am...
Okay, Winston, why don't you give
What would
Matt
you institute?
a 15, because I'm going to need quick decisions.
Yes. Okay.
Give him 2 sentences as to who Julia is.
So Julia is going to be driven the fact that her father is going to might go missing or die.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be realistic. Because she's already lost her mother, she does not want to give up on her father just yet. If it happens, she will become obsessed with trying to find out what happened to her mother. So
Okay.
she's family driven.
Sounds
And
good.
an angry ass bitch when it all goes to shit.
Alright, I can do that.
Cool. So what are you doing?
I rush toward the train.
Okay. I need you to throw me a luck.
That's a 98.
Both my characters are gonna die.
And Vernon finds himself at the very front of the first car. So Vernon, all these ghostly figures around you, there's like maybe 20 ghastly looking dead passengers in the first train with you. And once you are aboard, they all turn their attention to you and start, quite like zombies, walking towards you, grabbing at you.
Okay.
So you need to make a decision. You've probably only got a few feet behind you before you have another door, or there's the other end.
Is the train moving at all?
Yes. So in the moment that Julia grabs onto the back of the train disappears into the ether again.
Okay.
So Robert, suddenly the train is just gone.
It's too busy running away like you and
The question is,
The train set's still there, yes. If you're looking to complete your set, the train set is, in fact, still there.
I'm gonna go take the train set.
You're going to go take the train set?
Yeah, I'm gonna lug it with me. Can I roll a strength to see if I can carry this?
Yes.
I got it.
Okay. Yeah, you can drag it along the snow. Okay, so yeah, Robert, you're just pulling a train set through the snow.
Yeah, I was thinking about saving my friends later, so.
Fair enough. So, Vernon, what are you gonna do?
Alright,
They're
you said I
slowly
only had, like,
advancing
a couple
on you.
feet. We're talking like 2.
Yeah, they're slowly advancing on you.
Okay. And there's a door behind me.
Pull out
And
your
this is
computer
right
and start
before
routing.
like segment where it goes into that in between.
It's like that classic train car where it's
Okay.
just rows of seats on both sides.
Right. So then this door opens to the outside.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the door.
Okay, you try it. It's locked.
Can I roll a? Would it be an intelligence to understand if these, we call them ghosts?
Yeah, we'll call them ghosts.
Ghosts are passable.
Oh, like they're intangible?
Yes.
No, they're very much tangible.
Okay.
You can see them like pushing off of stuff and like hitting the chair, the benches as they walk past.
Okay.
Julia, you have a few moments to steady yourself on the side of this train. You realize that the train is in a gray, foggy world. There is nothing around you, except you can see. You know when like a computer starts to freeze, or at least it used to. You would get like repeats of where your cursor would go. It's like that, but the train curling, and you just see it curling and curling and curling down, as just like different imprints of the train have been spinning around in this gray world. And you can tell that it's been here for a long time because a lot of this world is just like the train in different places. So, Julia, I'm going to need a dex or a strength to climb in.
76 over 35.
Okay. You're hanging on, but you're not making any headway.
All right.
So, Vernon, what are you going to do?
So because the door is locked behind me, I shall use a strength check to rush the crowd.
Okay.
Because I have no other way to go. But before I do that, can I determine where they are in like there's rows of seats, you said?
They are all gathered in the central pathway, trying to get to you. There's only 2 right now that can get to you, just because there's just no room. But
Because what I'm thinking is like going over the seats.
you could do that. That's a clear path.
Would that be what kind of check?
That would be dexterity, probably.
Ooh, so either. I mean, they're both about the same, so I have the same rate of failure, so I might as well go for the clear path. Ooh, and I make it a 12 to my 45.
Okay. I'd say that you clear at least the first bench well,
Okay.
and well on your way to clearing the second one.
Okay.
And that's 1 round. Julia, what would you like to do?
Oh, I'm still trying to get in.
Yep.
There it is. I succeed.
Yep, you climb into the back. You look ahead and you see your father hurdling benches as about 20 zombie-like people are looking to grab him.
Does it appear that anyone has noticed me?
No.
Okay. And roughly how far am I from him?
I would say you're probably 40 feet. And you look up and 3 of them have turned around and started moving towards you.
Perfect.
Vernon, you want to give me another dex?
Yes. And that would be a 96.
So you need to make a dodge roll as one of them tries to grab you as you stumble over the bench.
Is that another... That's a dodge. Dodge. I am going to, unfortunately...
You're gonna push the roll. Push the roll.
I'm not just pushing the roll. I'm using the... It was an Ankh that he gave me? Or just a pendant?
A pendant, yeah.
So I'm using the special pendant from the old man. So the boon of the storied.
Boon of the Storied Man.
And I'm going to...
What number are you adding? D6, D8, or D20? Or
a...
D8, D12, or D20?
I need to do a D12.
You don't have to tell me a key moment of your relationship with your wife, but you do have to tell me a fairly significant one.
Her meeting my parents.
Okay. So the memory of inviting her over to dinner with your family, your mother and father meeting her for the first time, the joy your family felt when they saw how you lit up with her around. You conjure that memory to your forefront of your mind, and you can feel it just drain from you. And the pendant kind of gets a little warm. Okay. So how much luck do you burn?
7 points.
Okay, so you burn 7 points, and they fail to grapple you. Vernon, so roll me another dex, see if you can...
I got a 9.
So yeah, you clamber over another 2 rows, and now there are 4 that are right next to you, and then you're in open space, but 3 of the 4 are looking behind you now, or looking behind to where you want to go.
Okay.
So only 1 is kind of focusing on you as it tries to grab you.
Got it. Question. Since they're already looking that way, that means I obviously heard Julia scream.
Yeah, you probably would have. Actually, roll me a listen.
Actually, it's a 93, so...
Yeah, you just don't hear her.
Yeah,
You are
better
unaware of
outcome.
the fact that your daughter is on
That's
this
a
train.
better outcome.
Until I probably pop up and say, Dad, we need to get out of here.
The moment you do that, the curtain between the first and second car slides. You see a man just motion to you, quickly, through here! And he's motioning both of you to follow him.
Okay.
Julia, you've got room to make it without any sort of hindrance. So you can run straight to the back door if you want to. Or you can stop and try and push something or brawl something, or...
I mean, can I try and aid dear old Dad?
You would literally go up to one of them and brawl to buy him some time. You could run to the other side and try and distract them and then just hop a bench with a dex roll or something.
Does he have any sort of lead over them? Like where I could run and like knock over a bench that's behind him?
No, because they're all nailed down to the floor.
Past him. Okay. I guess I'll just delay and wait for him to get closer.
Okay. Vernon, roll one more dex.
No.
Okay, so you clear another bench and then you smoke your shins off the last one and go down. I'm going to...
At this point, he's close to me, though.
Yep.
Smoked shins.
Can I try to make some sort of, like, dex to try and keep him from just face planting?
Sure.
Alright. 12. I succeed at hard.
Okay, so just as they're about to grab onto your ankles, Julia lifts or grabs you by the back of your jacket and pulls with all her might, which is not considerable, but enough, because you are also a fairly slight man, and just hauls you over the last of the benches, and you clear the benches. The dead are turning on both of you now and are slowly progressing towards you. Meanwhile, the man is just like fervently just waving you on. He will not leave his doorway, but he is just like desperate for you two to make it.
I mean, at this point, we're pretty
Yeah.
close.
All right, both of you roll one more dodge.
Oh, I got a 7.
What did you? How badly did you fail?
More than double?
Julia scrambles to her feet and launches herself through. You manage to get to your feet and also wobble your way across the finish line. As you are crossing. Both of you roll spot hiddens.
I got an 18.
I fail.
Okay. Maybe it's because you were just so fervent on getting through that doorway, you just don't notice anything. But Vernon, you notice that on the door frame of this are symbols. You see an inverted ankh, and you see other symbols that match kind of the same genre of what was on the train. As both of you finally pass through, a man meets you who says, "Welcome to the 9:15 a.m. to Liverpool. Although we are currently running a little late, my name is Randolph Alexis." You see this man. He is a little aged after a quarter of a century, but he's just wearing his original 1897 suit. It is dirty, ragged, worn. He's small, bald-headed, thin. His eyes are intense, like he has been going through some shit. This carriage, you look around, it's of the same sort of make and model of the last one. Most of the benches have been like peeled away from their stuff, and there are 3 rooms in the back along one of the walls, like small little luxury rooms. You turn around and notice that the dead aren't following you through the doorway. You just hear them lowly groaning, trying to like figure out a way to get to you. He says, I am glad to see some new people. We got one a couple days ago. That was nice. But it's been...
What was his name?
I never stopped to ask. He's just been kind of a crying mess. Been doing this for a while. Why don't you follow me? Alexis motions to you, and he asks you to follow him. You both look into the first compartment of the 3 that are in the back, and you just see shredded clothes and some scattered and gnawed bones. He sees that you both notice, and he just kind of shrugs and says, "Man's got to eat, even here." Both of you roll spot hidden.
I did not get it.
Okay. You don't notice.
He does.
You see a watch fob hanging amongst the bones, and it says on it in quite shiny letters, AA Randolph. He motions you past the
Can I
second.
pick up the fob on the way past?
Sure, he's too busy. We won't care. In the second compartment, you both find Henry Stanley. He is just a sickening mess. Just like he is just shaken to the very core of his person, and is just so relieved to see other people. He just is like clawing at you. He's like, "I'm so happy to see. I hate trains. Oh God, I hate trains so bad now." Henry Stanley is just falling over you, so happy to see you. You can see that he's kind of, whenever Alexis kind of looks at him, he kind of cowers back, but otherwise he's just ecstatic to see more people. Alexis points outside and he says, "When we first came, this whole space was completely empty of anything. I see now one day it will be completely filled and there will be no room for any more train. What happens then, I cannot speak to. Time's different here. It seems to me no more than a month since I made my great error, and yet my register," and he points to one of the walls nearby, and you can see meticulously carried days just scratched into walls. I think that it's late 1911. So I have a plan, but I can't make it work. And he leads the 2 of you away from Henry and takes you to the 3rd compartment. And in the 3rd compartment, you just see he's made a train track out of intestines and human innards. And he's got a little heart set on the tracks as a train. He's like, "I'm fairly confident that I've done everything correct, but when I try to make it work, it doesn't register."
And he just has the heart on the intestinal tract.
Yeah, and he is just it's just a flat circular 8, circular
Okay.
figure 8.
Is there a train, or is it just
It's
the heart?
it's just the heart.
one heart.
And he just says, I've carved everything I need to into it. It should work. I just can't figure it out. Both of you need to roll sanity.
I also succeed.
Okay. Neither of you lose any sanity for this awful sight. Usually I just have to push the train around the track a certain number of times. Julia, you recognize the fact that the toy train had the up curve on both sides. This is a flat model.
Okay.
You think maybe somehow that the tracks were part of the key, and that in the same way like you need a specific set of teeth for a key, that this needs to be tilted the right way. You would point this out, I assume?
I let him know that he needs to prop up the two edges.
Oh, perfect idea. And he goes into the other first compartment and gets a bunch of bones and stacks the intestines properly. And he's like, I need help passing this around to make enough of a track. So who's going to help him pass the heart around the track?
Vernon.
Okay. So as you start passing the heart around, you hear footsteps on top of the trains. And you hear bodies smash against the glass of the second compartment. I need dex roll from you.
From me as well?
No, you're just standing there. He's actually...
No. He doesn't make it.
Okay, neither of you fail, so that takes the whole thing. So you do 2 passes instead of 4. Another dex.
Nope.
He makes it, so you do 3 instead of 4. As you do that, you see one body just kind of fall off and float into the ether, and it starts doing the same tracking thing that the train is doing. So now it's just making like a series of figures as they just flow into the gray. On the 6th revolution, the 4 of you feel a pull, and the train suddenly is back on the tracks. So suddenly, right behind Robert, as he's dragging the train set away, the engine and the 2 cars that had originally disappeared reappear back on the train tracks that they had originally disappeared from. Julia and Vernon, you're suddenly back in the real world with Randolph and Henry. All the ghosts just become corpses and collapse to the ground. You hear, however, another horn of a train coming the other way, and you are unfortunately on a head-on collision course. So I'm going to need everyone to roll a jump.
No.
You roll into the snow and take 2 damage because you failed your jump.
I got a 90 to a 20.
That's fine. You
Okay.
fail your roll and you take 2 damage.
Okay.
Also failed that roll.
Okay, you take 4 damage. The Doom train collides with another train going up. Winston, you can take back control of both players. Vernon, you learn the Doom Gate spell. Here's the information you need. Guys, what are you doing? Come on, you're...
Well, I
you're-
guess we just have to walk back to town.
Yeah, we have to walk back. Is somebody gonna
Die
help
on the
me?
way.
Is somebody gonna help me carry my train?
No,
The train's
because
gone.
both of my people are injured.
Train's
We can
still-
talk to one of the 2 guys who came with me. Through the
Actually, you notice that Henry Stanley came
Randolph.
through and Randolph Alexis came through.
Okay.
Randolph Alexis is missing now. He has disappeared on you.
Ran off.
You saw him jump from the train, same as the rest of you, but he is missing.
Okay, so Henry Stanley. Do we do a spot hidden to see if he's around us? Or
No,
is
he's still
he
there.
with us?
He's standing there with you, shaking.
Okay.
So very shaken.
So, what is the visibility like right now?
Oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so not great. You're in the countryside, so not
Full
great.
moon?
So
Can
there
wax
should
give
still
us-
be enough light, especially since it's snow. It would reflect off the snow
Barely.
easily
You can
enough.
find the road.
Okay, but I was just wondering if there's like foot tracks on, like.
You're
the
gonna
side of-
roll a survival.
That's a survival. versus a spy.
I am not looking for this other gentleman. I do not care enough.
You weren't there, so that's okay. I didn't even tell you about it technically. Yet.
Technically, all you know is that a train showed up, smashed into the other train, and suddenly your friends were back. Also, 2 other guys. And no one's offering to help you with your training.
No. No survival.
No, you're fine. Nothing.
Okay. And it's freezing, so I don't have any reason to really look that hard. Especially
Also,
since I'm injured.
Vernon, aren't you also dressed in 1800s garb?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's canon. You're dressed like an 1890s gentleman.
And Julia is as well?
No, just you.
Because of the crash, is there a fire now?
There was, and now it's in the river.
Oh. Well, there's not, like, debris with fire?
No.
Robert is still standing holding the train.
Henry sees the train set and starts slowly building. And he just starts taking off down the road as he's running from you and your train set.
So, Vernon and both Julia are assisting each other in walking.
Okay. So you're stumbling down the road.
I
You're dragging
made-
your toy
yeah,
set.
Yeah, and I made the strength check earlier, so...
Yeah, okay. So over the next couple of hours, you slowly make your way to the nearest town. So you guys make it to the next town.
So,
Good job, guys.
is it an active
Way to
town?
go.
No, it's asleep. It's like 2 or 3 a.m.
I
in the
didn't know if
morning.
there'd be like a bar that's open or a pub or...
No.
Is there like a motel
or
or
a
like
church.
Sure, there's a church, but
Aren't churches usually open like...
the building's probably unlocked.
I know, so,
But-
well, it's better than freezing outside.
or is there like a stable with horses in it?
Yeah, you go full Mary in the Manger, and
Because it's gonna be warmer in there than it's going to
you
be.
cuddle up with your train set for warmth. And then the next morning, you guys just you make it back to London. I would say that you probably took the first taxi at first light, so it's probably about 8.
8 in the morning on Saturday.
And right there is where we're going to end this episode.